The Armani eye tints have arrived, and I'm here. Let me start from the beginning. Hi, welcome. I love the Armani Beauty eye tints. And a huge thank you to Sea Salt Waves for mentioning this product specifically last summer. Not that she had tried it for the first time then, but Makeup by Mario released his Master Matte Cream Foundation that summertime, and she had compared it to the Armani eye tint, and Sea Salt Waves explained that she prefers the eye tint. And I said, well, if she says it's better, then I'm gonna have to try this product. And I did. I first bought 25 sandalwood, and this perhaps had to easily become instantly in that moment one of the best cream shadows I've ever tried. It's smooth, it's easy to blend, the color selection is outrageous, and it comes in a matte shimmer and I want to say like a metallic formula. They have 3 categories. They retail for $39 each. So yes, it's Armani Beauty. It's a luxury beauty product. It's on the higher end side. And in the recent Sephora sales event for fall, I picked up 30M Cedar, which is more of like a taupe. But do you see the consistency of this product? I know, it's just too much to handle. So I said, okay, I got the sandalwood. Now I wanted something cooler. Just a stunning product. But then one of our friends had told me that Armani Beauty was running 25% off site-wide, and I said, don't buy all the eye tints from Sephora because Armani Beauty might run a better sale. And I know it's just 5% more, but every little bit helps. And that's when I went wild. I went hog wild in buying so many eye tints, and I was like, Alicia, the minute these arrive, you better turn on that camera, because you have to share. And because of all the eye tints I purchased, I qualified for the free gift, which is like this bag. I didn't open it yet. Ooh, it's like what is this? Let's take off this cardboard here. We got the Giorgio Armani logo here at the top. It's a zip top with this handle. There's nothing quite special about it. We have this pouch is made with 100% plastic, recycled plastic pouch. Listen, I have a lot of stuff, okay, and the more bags the better. Although I can become a total pack rat with these, not too bad. Maybe I'll put the eye tints in this guy. We also have a little lip maestro in the red. I have here the Si Passione Eau de Parfum, the Crema Nera, a hydro plumping treatment lotion. Okay, we could try that out. I also requested the Luminous Silk Multi-Purpose Glow Concealer sample card, as well as the iconic Luminous Silk Foundation with the shade, let me see, we got a few shades here. Yeah, we got a few shades, which I'm no stranger to this foundation. I just haven't used it in years, so don't know if I can get away with the shades included in this packet. Let's see what we have. I probably could get away more with what's in for the glow concealer, but that will be on standby because we are here for these eye tints. How many did I buy, you asked? Oh, we also have the Vertical Lift Mascara as the last sample with the gift with purchase bundle, so happy to try that out. But yeah, out of control, unhinged. I could not stop adding to basket, but I knew I was going to make this purchase in November. Ever since I tried this guy, I said, wait until Armani runs a sale and then get on it. That's what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least it's not 10. And finally, I'll have the opportunity to try the shimmer formula, which I've never tried from the eye tint line. So that's going to be great. What should we do first? I'm dying to see Cashew. Hold on, let me pull up the shade descriptions. I'm so excited. Cashew, I realize might look like a little like sandalwood, but don't care because the way it looked online was just done. Yes, the metallic finish category. I didn't choose anything from the metallic finish category. You're like, you messed up. Cashew is described to be a warm matte tan, 22M. Yes, so beside sandalwood, you see that sandalwood is a little more like beigey. Ooh, but Cashew looks beautiful. I know I'm gonna run out of, oh my goodness. That's kind of like a mauve. It's giving a little mauve on me, which I'm not mad about, gotta say. Continuing with, ooh, I think I would love to try, this is like Christmas morning. Auburn, oh no, that's like a shimmer. I'm gonna try to keep everything like the same finishes together if I can. This is already getting complicated. I got 3 more mattes to try. Do I? Yes, I got wood. I had to get wood. This is the dark brown, which, ooh, looks so intense on the swatch, but I was like, this would be the one and done smoky moment. Oh, hello? Do you see that? That's crazy. I'm like, okay, I could blend this out with a fingertip. I would be curious to see how that finish will turn out, but I think I'm gonna grab a Sona G brush for this. This might need a tool, I think, in my opinion. Yes, I had to get Olive 90M. It was calling my name with now, what did I just review? My goodness, Olive Smoke from Tom Ford. I thought immediately, listen, you got all these olive palettes now, Alicia, you need the olive eye tint, okay? No questions asked. Hello? That is like, that's a true swamp. That is Shrek. And lastly, I was gonna leave this behind, but I'm like, you better not. Ebony. I'm thinking combining this with xenon or just having it as is, that smoky one done with a Sona G brush. Are you kidding me? I could not stop. Stop it right now. Look at these shades. This is all I need. I better not buy a single cream liquid product from here on out. At least for 6 months. Because really, this is the foundation right here for liquid eyeshadow. I'm good. I got my warm, I got my cool, my in-between, the olive, the super dark, and the black. And why not? Let me take off the watch. My apologies, Garmin. I'll swatch sandalwood next to cashew. Yeah, because was this already? Sorry, we already swatched this. But interesting how the color dries down. Yeah? But now it is time. It is time to swatch the shimmers. I cannot wait to see the eye tint in the shimmer finish, because this will be the ultimate one and done moment, right? Where you're just like, I don't have time, okay? But I do want shine on the lids. I'm looking forward to it, okay? The Chestnut, 10S. Wow, look at that, look at the color. Using my left arm now, my hand I should say, coordination nation. Ooh, that's almost like a taupey mauve. That, you know, I'm thinking Lilas, okay? Lilas Pai from the Viseart Attendu line. Stop it right now. Up next, Tobacco 68S. Yes, this antique bronzy shade. Oh, wow. Look at that. All over the lid, blended, diffused edges, and you're done. You're done. Bronze 11S. This I want, this has like an iridescent pink shift to it. Can you see that? I chose this specifically as like a light lid kind of moment. If I wanted a little shine on the lid, but not too much color overall. For instance, I would go in with either bronze or what was this one called? I forgot already. The memory banks 10S. I threw the box. Anywho, these two I would get like a smoked out haze effect on the eyes, but bronze I thought would be a good just light moment on the lid. Yes, isn't that beautiful? It's like an iridescent pink flip. That's pretty. Bronze 11S. That's an interesting name to call it. I don't know if I would classify that as bronze, but it's fine. It's pretty. It's fine. I won't ask any more questions. And lastly, we have Auburn 69S. Auburn terracotta. I guess you could say copper, but they have a copper metallic. They call it oh, never mind. I thought this was a shimmer, but on Sephora, they call it copper. The number is the same. Is that an error? I should really just go on the Armani site for more accurate description. But oh, that's exactly what I was hoping for. Yes. Yes! All right, we're done. We're done. You wanted more product details? I'm sorry. The price was $39, but we got 25% off. We're looking at I know, it's a 6-month suggested shelf life. I know, Alicia, you invested in a product. Clever using invested, ma'am, in a product that has such a short shelf life. What are you doing? I'm confident that if I store these well and use them often, I will get the most out of my 6 months and thereafter. I will continue to monitor how they turn, if there's any weird coloring in the vial, if they start to smell weird, okay? I will take precautionary measures in continuing to use a product well beyond its suggested shelf life. But I'm still gonna use as much as I can, especially now that I have all these tints. And with that said, oh, and these eye tints are made in France. So now that we have the details and swatches out the way, it's time for you to come in a little closer for these eye swatch demos. What tools shall we use? Well, we have our fingers, which I love to use with the eye tints, but I also gathered the Refer Shoto 03. This is a Psycho Goat brush, but the wispy design of the brush, I think, just moves the product beautifully across the lid. But I also have 3 Sonia G brushes on standby, specifically her Fusion Blender, which is a round top brush that will, I think, blend the product well through the crease, and her Fusion Worker, which will primarily lay down product on the entire lid and could pounce through the crease, but you'll probably get a smoother blend from the blender. But I have her soft concealer on standby, quite large even for my eye size, so maybe not practical if you have a smaller eye size. If you happen to have Sonia's Eye Fusion series or one of the brushes from that series, these will be a little more precise. She also has the pointed pencil brush from the Fusion series that you could use for a lash line, lower lash line application. Ooh, but we're gonna start with Cashew. Well, hold on, this is a little crazy. My desk is out of control. I wish they had the name also underneath, because they just have the number and I don't remember. Cashew on the lid. And now, because this is a lighter shade, I will use my finger to tap. Oh, this is so beautiful. If you're looking at this right now and you're like, are you out of your freaking mind? I could barely see anything. Here's the thing with the eye tints and what I adore about them. They blank out my lid in a way that still has a little bit of color, but just enough to set up the canvas. Perhaps I can follow up with a VBB liner or my Prada liner, right? I could keep it super simple, but it just be elegant, not too much color. That's what I love about it. And the ease of blend is outrageous. But here's the true test, okay? Going in with Wood, but starting a little more conservatively, okay? Closer to the lash line, but this clearly has more color impact. But I want to demonstrate the ease of use, just the ease of blend. And I'm using my smaller finger to get into the inner corner of the eye. I understand because I don't have long nails, I can get away with this application, but as I had mentioned before, I can use Sonia's brushes to just move the edges of the product and also even out the application across the lid. This will be a lovely setup for smoking out, maybe for instance the Miss Dior Quint in Wild Beige, if I just wanted a little more girth as the base color, or I could take this same color on top of Cashew. I started lightly on the very corner close to the lash line, so I can pounce it on top and create like a soft haze on the corner of the lid. That's pretty. Oh, I'm done. These eye tints are absolutely gorgeous. But make sure if you're layering like I did on this side that you work quickly, because once they set, they're not budging. And they have great longevity. I like to use these as like a lid enhancing primer, because as you saw from Cashew, although it doesn't have like crazy color payoff, what it does is not only smooth out the lid and address discoloration, but it could also kind of boost whatever eyeshadows you choose to apply on top, and will now prolong the longevity of those powder eyeshadows because it is a long-lasting liquid eye product. Wipe that off, and now we have to go in with Olive. I am dying to see Olive in action, and don't you worry, this is simply a try on video, an intro if you will, And I'll be sure, if not a long form video, although I know that's a favorite here on this side of the internet, a short form, perhaps combining olive with olive smoke. Now, what I like about the eye tints, because even though on the swatch you saw that it's quite color heavy, right? This is like super intense, or this one here for olive. When you blend it out, it does appear more sheer. And I appreciate that, because it allows me the control to acquire the level of intensity I wish to achieve. And if I'm planning to use this under eyeshadow, I don't want such a potent layer. I just want an enhancement so that the other colors can shine, but they are amplified by the eye tint, because we're trying to avoid eye texture as well, right? We don't want the product to feel so heavy and to grab lid texture in a way that will appear unflattering, right? So that's just something to think about. Also, quick tip, if you wanted to get more precise under the lash line and not necessarily wanted to place the doe foot applicator directly on, you could just take a little bit with your brush from the doe foot applicator and proceed to apply the shadow in whatever fashion. That doesn't look too bad, I have to say. Just blurring the edges here again. Make sure you, especially if you're doing two eyes at the same time, or just doing both eyes, that you do one at a time, that you don't apply on both and then blend one, because by the time you'll get to the other side, you won't be happy. The eye tint is like, you told me to stay, I'm staying. Now with Ebony, holy moly, I'm going to tap carefully. I recommend with Ebony, Olive, and even Wood that you start with a light tap and then gently work your way up towards the crease. In fact, you probably want to apply far less than what I did, because my goodness, a little goes a long way. The texture is beautifully smooth, so it moves well. And if you start off with too much, it could be tough to kind of control its placement. This is the smoky eye right here. Yes, it could look raccoony if you're not careful, but man, oh man, if you want the smoke, Ebony is right there to give it to you. My heavens, this is like, I don't need anything else. If I wanted for dimension, I can go in with a highlighter shade. What do I have on standby? Let me see. For instance, if I were to go into my Miss Dior Bold Black Quint, I can easily follow up with the mint, for instance, just to create a little bit of distinction here so we could brighten up the inside of our eye, and to amplify, oh, here it comes, the shiny, oh my goodness. You know what I'm also thinking? This is going to be your go-to if you have those Donesta duochromes or any type of indie duochrome that will be further enhanced by applying that duochrome finish on a black base. You know it, I know it, it's gonna be a fun time. Those transformer iridescent shades that look white and pan but look like a totally completely different color when yes, and yes. So let's move on. I'm going to wipe this off, be right back with, ooh, we got quite a few. We got 4 more to get through, so I'll be back in a minute. I think this is not tobacco. Which shade was this? Yes, this is tobacco. Ah, chestnut, yes. Okay, I look so cool now. Do I have to warm up these lights? Oh my gosh. I'll actually use my finger with the shimmer finishes because based off the swatch, it felt quite smooth and easy to blend out with a finger tap. I like that a lot. The shimmer has a beautiful luminous effect on the skin, although I suspect, however, that you'll get better color payoff if you apply with a brush. So you could tap that around the lid and it'll leave behind more coverage. Well, that's lovely on its own. Yes, although it's on the cooler side, I think this will look beautiful with my lilac palettes or even on its own. I could change, for instance, I could change this lipstick to be from ABH's Hazelnut. That's like more like a grungy beige. And I think that will look better with what's going on. I know the red, you know what, should I just change it? Much better. Although I know I might have to now apply mascara because if I'm blanking out here or if I'm going more cool beige here on the lip, I will need to add a little more definition and contrast with the lashes, but it's fine. We're gonna move on. I'm dying to see Tobacco in action. I'm making sure that there's no eye makeup remover residue because it can impact how these tints lay down. So going now in with Tobacco and whoa. And like I did with the brush, I'm gonna gently tap out so we can even out on the lid and then tap the edges through the crease. Ooh, Tobacco is shiny. It's giving disco eye. This will also be lovely solo, and I can imagine combining it with Wood. That's pretty. This definitely has a lot more of a shine. I feel like this is more of like a metallic, whereas Chestnut is more of a traditional shimmer. Simple, yet just enough. All right, we got two more shades. We got Bronze and Auburn, Copper, whatever it's called, depending on what site you see. With that said, stay tuned and I'll be back in a minute. Bronze, I cannot wait to see this iridescent pink finish on the lid. I wanted originally Bronze to serve the purpose of like a barely there but just enough shiny lid to follow up then with a liner and that be it. It's soft. It's not going to be blinged out for sure, but there's definitely an iridescent finish to the skin, lightweight. It's not going to be the most impressive color in here for sure, but I already knew that. I just wanted it to be a nice serving of shimmer, but it be long lasting, right? Because I would go in with my Prada liner or even a VVB liner, have that on the lid and be done. But this is not as smooth in my opinion as Chestnut or Tobacco, and you have to work quickly. I actually would apply this with a brush instead of a finger because the application could look quite uneven. So out of all the 8, even though Bronze is pretty in the vial, I don't think it's the best performing. So that's the weakest shade that I've encountered so far. But I'm not too mad about it, you know, because I got it on sale, all right? And I'm going to use it still. It's not going to be a huge deal. Auburn, however, I'm excited to see in action. And again, don't be like me where you allow these tints to sit. Because look, already those 2 seconds, it's already starting to set. So you have to ensure that your tools are ready to go. The brushes are wiped, right? That you don't have to do anything but just immediately go and start moving the product because it will set down immediately and you will not be happy with the outcome. That's when it would appear splotchy and uneven on the lids. Oh, but that shade right there. That's a pretty shade. Ooh, I gotta say, one of my more favorite ones thus far. I'm a sucker for the coppers and the terracottas. And the bronze is growing on me. What will probably happen is when the oils start to break through a tiny bit, it's not going to break this down as quickly as like a typically formulated powder shadow would. But I think a little bit of the oils will help kind of move the pigments around a bit and have it appear shinier. That's what I suspect, but we don't know. We don't know yet. However, I want to finish the look by using Wood as like an outer corner smoky moment, and I could use a smaller brush, and I have a smaller brush for this task, but I can use the very tip of the blender, no, the worker, to create a soft shading of color along the lash line so we can have a little bit of smoke here on the outer lid to bracket bronze if I wanted to create a more distinct haze effect. And listen, the eye tints work well with each other for sure. Again, you just have to be quick. You can't let it set and just sit on the lid. Ooh, but that's pretty. Here though, I want to apply a little bit of Auburn on the lower lash line. And I want a smaller brush. This is the Nikki LaRose collab BK Beauty brush in N23. And although a little too thin, this color can get away with a hazier application, or a wider application, because I am holding the brush on its side and it has more like a paddle effect here to the move, so it's gonna have a wider kind of distribution. And I'm gonna give bronze another chance and use it as an inner corner highlight. So I'm taking directly from the doe foot applicator and applying that on the inner corner, and that's lovely. Yes, actually, maybe bronze would be better applied from doe foot on brush to lid. That will probably yield a smoother application. Actually, let me try that here on our first eye. Yes, that's better. Do that. Do that instead. I think you'll be happier. And actually, one more thing I know. I said I was gonna be done, but here we are. Ebony, a little bit with the tip of the brush. I'm talking like tippity tip, and running it across the lash line. Wood will probably be a better choice with Auburn, but I don't know, man. I think this is a nice combination as well. And you could soften the application by diffusing the edges. Ooh, I like this. You could also tap to get a wider serving, if you will, and maybe create a little wing. A little. Hey, alrighty, let's apply these lashes and I'll be right back. And here are the final shots using the two last eye tints. And I gotta say, bronze is already behaving well. Like I had suspected, it just needed a moment to kind of settle on the lid. Although I would still say it's not shiny like Tobacco, nor is it as shiny as Auburn. But I do like that light pink iridescent effect on the lid. Is exactly what I wanted it to do. I know there are similarly performing shades in the lineup, such as 12S Shell, 18M Beige, that could yield a similar effect, but I'm quite happy with bronze and happy that I added a little bit of wood on the outer corner and use ebony to create a soft wing on the lash line. Happy that I changed the lip. I think this pairs better with the eye tints, but overall, I am thrilled. I cannot wait to create more looks with these products. Stay tuned. If not a long form video, definitely shorts will be on the way in combining these different eye tints with my favorite eyeshadow palettes, large or small. And again, I can't praise this product enough. I think it's one of the better performing liquid cream eyeshadows in the market. While I realize I haven't tried an extensive amount of liquid eye products, I think they're just a joy to use. Now, some might be easier than others, like with bronze. I discovered that perhaps a fingertip application isn't best, but one that uses a brush. From brush to doe foot onto lid, I think is the best steps to take to ensure a more even application across the lid. You have better control when using brushes, especially with the darker shades such as wood, olive, and ebony. And even with the shimmers, I would actually apply cashew and tobacco in the same manner, brush to doe foot and then tap on the lid. I think that will again ensure the smoothest finish and will also lend you better control with the blend and it not set as quickly. You saw how it quickly sets and it will be tough to move the product after you leave it, even for a few seconds. So make sure when you are creating eye looks with these tints that you don't apply them on both eyes at once and just work on one eye at a time, because by the time you get to the second, it ain't moving and it'll just look like, you know, impressionist art on your lid instead of like blended out eyeshadow, okay? So that would be my tip, and happy that I took advantage of the sale. Yes, it was excessive, 100%, but because I film YouTube, I film beauty YouTube, I'm going to get a little bit of return, and I thank you in advance for using my links, for watching my videos, even if you just have me playing in the background. If I wasn't on YouTube, I probably would not have made such an extensive purchase. And if you would like me to recommend the items, because I don't know, I think the sale ended, but who knows if Armani Beauty will run something else closer to Black Friday, or maybe they'll have like I don't know, a special offer either for Black Friday or for Cyber Monday. If I had to choose two, I would go with sandalwood and tobacco, because tobacco you can apply all over the lid. It be shiny, it has a little bit of depth of color, so you'll get that haze effect across the lid without adding more shadow or more liner. So that'll be your one and done shadow. And sandalwood, especially if you're my skin tone, it's like my lid but warm beige, and it is fantastic if I just wanted a blanked out lid but it not look like my lid color obviously, but wanted a little bit of warmth there, following up with a liner or just mascara, and it's matte, so it's not going to draw attention to your lid like a metallic or shimmer would. It's just straightforward and simple. If I were to pick three, I would add wood into the mix, because now you have a little bit of definition where you could use this shade on the outer corner as I demonstrated here, or you could use it along the lash line. Although I use ebony, you could very much use wood. You could diffuse it, you could wingtip it, you could have it all over the lid if you wanted like that smoky moment, but because it's more of like a bark brown, it won't look as intense as ebony will. So these are the three I would get. If you had to choose just two or three, those would be my choices. The other ones for sure, if you're like Alicia, how about the cool, cedar is a must. So it will either be tobacco and cedar, or tobacco and sandalwood, or tobacco and wood. Cedar is going to be more taupe cool tone, right? So that is totally up to you. If overall your eye looks tend to lean more taupe cool, right? If you tend to sit here versus here, then obviously you'll choose the color that's going to best suit your eyeshadow preference, and one that's going to mesh well with the majority of your eyeshadow collection, your eyeliners and or your other liquid and cream shadows, right? So those are just some considerations, but man, oh man, am I happy with these. I can't wait to experiment more, so definitely stay tuned for those updates. And if you made it this far, make sure you like this video by clicking that thumbs up. It helps me immensely in letting the YouTube algorithm know that I'm fun to watch and will now continue to watch, and will also recommend my video to other Armani item enthusiasts such as yourself. And consider subscribing, because like I said, more content on the way using these items, and you'll know when those videos drop immediately, especially when you click that notification bell. If you're a returning subscriber, I thank you, friend, for taking the time, but if it's your first time here, please stay, peruse some more. Maybe I'll see you in this video here. I'll definitely see you down in the comments for this one, and on here again next time.